There once was a young man named Drake who was preparing for a long journey. He had finally found his direction. He knew where he wanted to go. The path ahead was narrow, winding through hills and forests. It would take time. It would take effort. But he was ready. Before leaving, Drake packed a large backpack. He filled it carefully. Extra clothes, extra tools, books he might need, food for weeks, objects people had given him just in case. When he lifted the bag onto his shoulders, it felt heavy. But he told himself, it's better to be prepared. And so he began walking. At first, the weight didn't bother him. He moved quickly. He felt strong. But as the sun rose higher and the road climbed uphill, the burden grew heavier. His steps slowed. His breathing shortened. Every incline felt steeper than it should have been. Drake noticed other travelers passing him, some carrying much less. He wondered if they were foolish, or perhaps free. By afternoon, his shoulders ached. His back tightened. He found himself stopping more often than he walked. Finally, he sat down beside the path. As Drake continued walking, he saw Bob, who had given him advice in the past, kind of like an old mentor. The old man sat calmly beneath a tree, watching the road. "You look tired," Bob said. "I am," Drake admitted. "The journey is harder than I expected." Bob glanced at the backpack. "Is the journey heavy?" he asked. "Or is what you're carrying heavy?" The young man paused. He had never considered the difference. The mentor gestured gently. "Open it." Reluctantly, the young man unzipped the pack. Inside were things he had packed out of fear, extra supplies in case he failed, notes from people who doubted him, old mistakes he kept just to remember, tools he thought would make him look more prepared, even expectations, spoken and unspoken, placed there by others. The mentor lifted one of the items. "Will this help you walk farther?" he asked. The young man shook his head. "No." "Then why are you carrying it?" One by one, the mentor encouraged him to examine each item. Some were useful, most were not. Comparison, fear of judgment, the need to impress, the pressure to move at someone else's pace. Each one added weight, but none added strength. Slowly, the young man began removing things. He left behind the books he would never open, the tools he did not know how to use, the expectations that did not belong to him. The backpack grew lighter. When he stood again, something felt different. The road had not changed, but he had. He walked forward once more. The path was still narrow. The hills were still steep. But now his steps were steady. And for the first time, he noticed something important. The journey had always been manageable. It was the unnecessary weight that made it unbearable. As the sun set, the mentor's voice echoed in his mind. "You cannot climb far while carrying what you do not need." In life and in business, many people exhaust themselves, not because the goal is impossible, but because they refuse to release what slows them down. If you feel overwhelmed, look at what you're carrying. It may not be the path that's heavy. It may be the backpack. Let go of what does not serve your growth. Travel lighter. Move farther